Hello? Hello, welcome. Happy Sunday, everyone. Just adjusting the audio. Speed! Thank you! Holy smokes, like so many resubs are like 4 years or like almost there. Thank you so much, dude. How are you and the fam doing this weekend? Thank you for the, what is that, 44 months in a row with the Prime Gaming sub. Legendary. Yeah, yeet. How's everyone doing? Welcome back to the kitchen. It's good to be back today. Sam was here with us. We're chilling. We're hanging out. Wow, that totally like changed the lighting when you came in. I love it. He brings the warmth to the stream. Kimmers, thank you for being first as always. We have Chaotic Good Mage in here with us today, who's also a fellow streamer on Twitch. We have rated him before, and he does like honestly amazing cooking too. So maybe he'll be streaming later. You never know. We can maybe raid you. Val, happy Sunday. Are you guys staying warm? I know we don't really feel like doing much with this crazy cold weather, but cooking is definitely a good thing to do when there's like you don't want to go outside. Just cook yourself something awesome, at least like one meal.
Can you refrain from using the oven? We like to use.
Oh yeah, we're not allowed to use the oven right now. We should be doing all microwave cookery here today because apparently the cold like wore so much on our power grid yesterday that they were warning people with outages. We didn't have any power outages happen though, because I was reading this morning, the province next to us on the eastern side, Saskatchewan, they lended us some of their power for overnight, so no one had to go without power in Alberta. So shout out to Saskatchewan. Thank you very much for that. Staying warm, yeah. But wait, no, Sask now has outages? I'm so sad for them.
Oh no.
No! That makes me so sad, Valk. They poured out of their own cup so much that now they can't even fill it back up themselves. I hate when that happens. Mish, right? It's like, okay, let's cook this prime rib in the microwave today. Anonymous gifter, what a sneaker. Gifting the sub to Trevor, who we also know. Who's sneaking around in here today? And another anonymous gifter gifting the sub to Playa Haida 2007. Welcome, guys. That's very nice of them, right? So yeah, what was my phone is the camera here. We're actually being so bad today. We're running 2 ovens to make this roast dinner. We're not abiding by the rules at all. But I think the suggestion is over. It was just last night. But yeah, we got this warning at 7 o'clock-ish, I think. The emergency alert. This is insane, you guys. It's only Sunday.
Get the train.
Get it? Okay. Thank you, Bob, for the 30 months in a row resub. Welcome back to the kitchen crew. Choo-choo! That was for all of you. Thank you for setting that off. Level 2, 0%. But yeah, we got the emergency alert from the government thing. First off, the noise just scares the shit out of you every single time. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Whenever you hear that noise, you're just what was my reaction? I was like, what now? I think is what I said before I read the message. But yeah, they're because of the cold, there's a strain on the power grid here in the province, so it's recommended to not charge your electric vehicle, to refrain from using the oven, cook with the microwave instead. And was there one other suggestion? I forget. It was just ridiculous. I was like, how about you just turn off all of the lights in all the office buildings that no one's working in downtown? How about that? Crazy, I know. Happy, thank you for the 200 bitlies. Biggest fireworks in Danish history, just saying. Wait, what? For Mish's birthday even? Mish, did you have a good birthday week? Everyone, if you didn't wish Misha happy birthday yet for this week, it was her entire birthday week, so say happy birthday.
Belated birthday!
Yeah. Yep. FCB, welcome in. Good to see you too. You're 12 now, once again. Some people just don't age, let me tell you. Okay, so we found this really nice piece of roast beef at the store. This is why you go to the store early on Thursdays and Fridays, because you never know what you might find in the meat section. So I found this piece of prime rib. We dressed it up on yesterday's stream after we finished playing Lego. I think, what was it, like 2.5 kilos or something like that? I forget the weight of it. But yeah, nice little chunk of beef prime rib, $9.99 a pound. I haven't seen that price in at least a year, I would say, in Canada for sure. So I picked that up for Sam and myself to have like a nice little treat meal together for him coming home. So all we did yesterday to dress it was we rubbed it with some Dijon mustard all over, and we used a really simple rub of salt, pepper, granulated garlic, and dried parsley, and we just kind of pressed it on, and then we didn't cover it back up, and we just put it in the fridge overnight. And now that has been sitting out for like just over an hour ago. I took it out of the fridge so it can like kind of temp up, and that's how you get the most even cooking on your large pieces of meat like that. Because think about like the inside of that big piece of roast, right? It's probably really cold still, and then the outside's kind of warming up, right? Really, really good to do for like the big, like a whole piece of prime rib. Yeah, you don't want to just take it right out of the fridge and pop it in the oven. It just won't turn out as good. This is something we've learned over the years, making, I don't know how many prime ribs we've cooked on a Sunday. Samo can maybe start to tally it up in his head. FCB, thank you for the 1,000 bits, my friend, going towards our solar fund. We're now at 71% of the way through. And we're at, 48% through our level 2. But yeah, we have cooked many a prime ribs on Sundays. It's funny because I was like trying to see if I had a recipe already in Discord from a previous stream. I mean, 6 years cooking on Twitch, we've cooked a lot of things. And yeah, I did find the recipe. So we obviously have made this before. And then I linked kind of every other component of the meal today except for the roasted peppers, because that's so simple. Misha's gonna be happy though. Yep. I had it in the freezer because once upon a time I was supposed to be leaving for 2 weeks, right? Like I shouldn't actually be home right now. So we had some like crumbled feta, and then I just took the rest of the like chunk and just stuck it in the container and froze it obviously on December 23rd. So I just took it out of the freezer this morning. And yeah, we'll make a feta cucumber salad today. Nice and refreshing to go with the roast dinner. Thank you, friends, for the hype train first thing. I think I got a new emote. Let's see if you guys did too. What is that? Nice, they're eating noodles. It's like a dumpling eating noodle emote. That's adorable. 4 subbies and 1,200 bits. Thank you, my peoples, for starting the stream in this way. Hi, Crimson. Katniss, what's your weather? 3.4 Celsius? That's pretty cold for there, isn't it? That is so warm, Crimson, compared to where we were. I'm gonna show all of you up right now. Come at us. I broke it. It doesn't actually work. Holy, ooh, it's too cold out there, baby. When the air is so cold that the ice is just like hanging as fog in the air, that's what we have right now. We didn't quite hit minus 60 though overnight. Not quite. It warmed up a bit. Holy shit. Okay, let me open all these recipes for us and away we go. FCB, you had prime rib for Christmas. Did you like go out to have it, or did you cook it yourself, or someone else cooked it for you? We've done something crazy for Christmas before where you like deep fry the prime rib, like how you deep fry a whole turkey. Insane. Insane. It's actually so delicious. But I think the prime rib is still better done like in the oven. You just retain a little bit more moisture and flavor that way rather than just putting the whole thing in a deep fryer. You've never in your life experienced anything colder than -20? It's insane here right now. It's so insane here. Meesh. Or no, sorry, I was reading the wool wine for a Paloozer. 8 degrees plus Celsius. Hi, Oak Oak. I saw that you guys are parting ways. Did you make it home now, or are you still on your way home? It's good to see you though. FCB, somebody else cooked your prime rib. Was it good though? They did a good job, hopefully. Oh shit. I love reading these things from the username does not exist. Kate in the kitchen, a chef with flair. Sizzling pans, aromas fill the air. Her recipes, a culinary affair. Symphony of taste, beyond compare. Boom. So you're saying I should become a rapper? You should see Sam's face right now. He's like in shock. He's in shock, but he also just fell more in love with his wife. I could see it. I should look into frosty tools. The trees go stronger because of the cold. So we do too, right? That's what I always think. There's like something magical in the cold that they don't want us to know. You can believe it, Katniss? Yes. Okay, so yeah, we're using 2 ovens today. I'll show you the other oven. Do you guys remember the Caldo Bake? The convection, just like standalone oven that you can just like plug in anywhere. So that's what we're gonna be cooking the roast in today because yeah, this is a big roast dinner and like this oven only has 2 oven racks in it. So not really efficient at all to use for today. So we're gonna cook the roast in like the smaller convection oven. See how that goes in there because we've never cooked it in there before. And then we'll finish all the veggies and stuff just in the regular oven. So this is what we're looking at right now. Samo was just like, we got it plugged in and stuff to make sure it actually works properly and holds the heat. That's it. You can see the Samo slight reflection. It looks like he's naked, but he's not, okay? Hi Kermit, how are you doing?
That's good. Sure.
I love saying that stuff. Paloozer, yeah, the magic in cold is hiding behind hypothermia. You just have to break through the barrier to peer beyond the veil. That's all you have to do. It's just as simple as that.
Go back to the image there. You gotta leave it on for a couple minutes so it's a screenshot.
No!
Thumbnail. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Gotta do it.
Okog landed
Just wait.
12 hours ago. I know. Oh.
See?
Goodbyes are always hard. It's crazy how like fast 3 weeks will go by when you're with your favorite human. Any gravy, caramelized onions, or mushrooms today? No, no, and no. I'm sorry. Dust, he better be naked. Okay, let's check one more time. All he's wearing is slippers. You can find more content on his OnlyFans. FCB's prime rib was excellent. Who made it? She was a great cook. You had 16 people for dinner. You had prime rib, ham, spuds, stuffing, other veggies, and cornbread. That sounds like a really good spread. Did she cook that all herself? That's amazing. You missed the cutaway showing not naked Sammy? No, you didn't. You saw it. Don't lie to me.
Hey, here you get the primer, dude.
Okay, chat. Sam says we gotta get the prime ribbon, so we gotta obviously switch it out of this plastic pan into a metal one. We'll prepare the pan and get it in there. Should we roast it on a oven rack, like propped up? Okay, we'll do that. Always. You always foil it underneath to save yourself from having to scrub too much later. Right, Blood Oak? Yeah, to have like 3 weeks off in a row, that's almost like a rare occurrence these days. So it's so nice that you two really got to spend that quality time together. So just grab in some foil and parchment.
I get 3 weeks off every 3 weeks.
Yeah, or I guess you can have Samo's job where you can work for 3 weeks straight, be not at home, and then you come home for 3 weeks straight and you don't have to work if you don't want to. There is options. So this is what I was talking about, propping up the roast on an oven or a metal rack and then onto the sheet pan. And I'm gonna use like a not so nice sheet pan for this today. So I'll line just the bottom of the sheet pan with the foil and parchment. And we'll put the rack on top. The silicone mats are really awesome, Crimson, for sheet pans. Like if you do a lot of baking and stuff. And then parchment, I find the parchment, the ones that we buy, it goes a long way. Like you can buy a 2-pack of it from Costco. We'll see how much fat renders out of this today, but we'll probably save like any of the drippings and stuff, right? That's liquid gold right there. Katniss, you're under a severe weather warning right now. It's 5 to 10 degrees. Okay, now we switch this. I mean, I guess I didn't really need the parchment. That is true. I didn't really need the parchment on there. But whatever. Now we're very thorough. Okay, so that's all tucked in. And then literally all I'm gonna do is pick this up and put it on the pan. Hi, Kame, how are you? So yeah, the whole roast, except like underneath on the bones, but the whole roast all over was coated in mustard. I can even maybe take some of this extra seasoning. Just put it on the top crust here. So just some Dijon mustard we spread all over. And then a Suzy Q's rub. That is salt, pepper, garlic, and parsley. I'm just gonna wash my hands. And then we'll go over and put this in the oven. And then we'll read the recipe to see how long for temperatures and timings. And then we'll talk about what we're also gonna do, because maybe we won't do the same thing. There's always more than one way to cook something.
425 till it's brown.
Samo says 425 till it's brown.
275 after that till it's done.
Holy Kame, imagine this, Samo. Can't complain, 67F and sunny in Honolulu. We were just talking, I don't know if you were in here, Kame, when we were going over the weather right now around the world. We do not have that temperature here. What a contrast. Okay, guys. So the oven's at 425. That's it. Close that baby up, keep all the heat in. And that's our little convect oven. It's the cutest shit ever. F off Hawaii. Sorry, folks. No, I love it, Kame. I love it so much. Okay, our recipes. I suppose that's kind of what we're doing. I didn't realize he called this article roasted and reverse seared prime rib. So let me see what Kenji says here. I do love Serious Eats for the reason that they explain all of the processes so well. Especially for those who are maybe not familiar. But I will say I've like learned a thing or two reading through all of the articles on Serious Eats over the years. It's minus 17 Celsius where you are right now. Have you ever experienced something that cold before yet it is? Like, my mom messaged me yesterday, me and my bro, and she's like, I hope you guys are staying warm. I don't think we've ever, like, experienced minus 60 before. You had a solid week and a half where the temps were below 10F, and at some point you got 12 inches of snow in 24 hours. That's so magical when that happens, though. Okay. What does he say here, Kenji? I'm just gonna read through what I think is, like, the most educational parts of this article. He says this is a 4-pound joint of well-marbled prime beef rib. I think ours is around 4 pounds, actually. Like 2-something kilos? That would be accurate, right, Sambo? And he said, it's not cheap. While my friends provide me with as many mental and philosophical riches as a man could ask for, in this one, and my wife supplies an adequate amount of emotional wealth, as a humble food writer, I do not part with dollars and cents lightly, he says. Thus, when I buy a quality piece of beef, and honestly, does beef get any better than prime rib, I have a great impetus not to mess it up, as do, I imagine, most of you. A 4-pound joint? Right? I was waiting for that. Excuse me? We would die, Dust. Don't even question it. Don't even put that in your head, dude. You got a lot of emotional wealth, right, Mish? Okay.
Emotional damage.
Imagine trying to hold it. Okay, carrying on. So Kenji says, when I do buy a quality piece of beef, so at the food lab, I've decided to go through a lifetime's worth of messing up so that in the future, I will never have nothing to serve again but a perfectly good cooked roast. So what exactly is a perfect prime rib anyways, he says. So he says, start with bone-in, well-marbled beef. If you guys were here on yesterday's stream, I would say, yeah, that piece of beef is well-marbled for sure. That is definitely why I bought that. It, like, drew me in, I swear. It was, like, one of those times where you're, like, in the store, you walk by the, like, thing, you kind of see it, and then you're, like, processing, and then you reverse, and you're like, yeah.
It was so good she had to call me.
I had to call Sam and talk to him about the beef and discuss if we should buy it. And yeah, so it is bone in as well, and there's 2 bones in there. And like, to me, if you guys have ever had a prime rib roast before, whether you've had it at home or gone out, like typically you're served 1 bone per portion per person. So if you get one with 2 bones, you should definitely be able to feed 2 people, if not like 4. Because prime rib meat is, yeah, quite rich, so you don't need a lot of it. Right? Yeah, you would need like some extra structure to make an actual 4-pound joint. I'm sure if you Googled it, probably someone has done it before. Just Google that and then put Reddit in after. Good luck. Have fun. Okay, so Kenji says the bones in the prime rib don't add flavor, but they regulate temperature. I didn't know that. increasing the amount of tender, medium rare beef you'll get in your finished roast. Of course, you get to gnaw on the bones when you're done. I will say, if you have doggos, holy, doggos love the prime rib bones. Sam's even got an injury once from it, but it was all done with love. So he says, marbling is the intramuscular fat that appears as white spider-like or spider web-like pattern within the meat. So it's not the outer fat that you see, it's the fat within the actual protein. The more marbling you have, the richer and more tender your beef will be. And that kind of goes with any meat that you have, right? It doesn't have to be just beef. Though most guides recommend a pound per person when you're shopping for prime rib, this is for very hungry eaters. Like I said, in reality, you'll most likely get away with 3/4 of a pound per person, or like 1 rib for 2 to 3 people. Holy shit, they just donated $1 million? I'm freaking out. Trust me, if that was real, I would have got a notification. But thanks for trying. Okay, they say season it well and season it early if you've got time. Should we get him, chat? Got him. I'm doing my due diligence today as a streamer. Boom, hammered. It was actually me today. A rare occurrence that a streamer actually banned someone in chat. Okay, season the meat well and season it early if you've got time. I didn't even read this before we streamed yesterday and seasoned it early. Maybe, yeah, imagine. Maybe they tried to donate $10 and their zeros just got stuck. That would be an unfortunate series of events for them. So prime rib has plenty of flavor on its own. There's no real need to add much more than a heavy sprinkling of salt and pepper. If you're able to plan ahead, it's best to season your prime rib with salt at least the day before or up to 4 days ahead of roasting. I've never done that nor even thought that far ahead to season it 4 days ahead. Whoa. This will allow time for the salt to penetrate the meat though, and to season it more deeply without actually drying out the surface. And it says this will also lead to better browning during the roasting period. Right? There's like so many millions in the world. Easily they could donate it to people. Oh my god, this just in. Mish the 12-year-old is a millionaire. I always had an inkling about that. Okay, this is an interesting point. He says, try cooking the prime rib a little more than you think you should. I strongly believe that well-marbled prime rib at its best when it's cooked to a minimum of medium rare and preferably medium. Rare, yeah, rare is great for lean cuts like tenderloin, which tend to get dry at the higher temperatures, but for these fatty, well-marbled cuts, you do want to cook them at least to the point where the fat will start to soften up and render, which then you'll get the flavor and juiciness that you're looking for when you do cook it. He says this, when I did a blindfolded taste test of beef cooked to various temperatures a couple years back, all but 1 out of a dozen tasters preferred the prime rib cooked to medium rare. Even folks who initially claimed that they liked their meat rare. So give it a try, right? You never know. I will say this, like, yeah, people that eat prime rib rare, I don't know, there's something about like the really hard unrendered fat that has a weird flavor and texture to me. I just could never do it. Also, I find it's very difficult to eat because the meat stays very chewy, right? So like I find you almost kind of like choke it down. Not a very fun eating experience, but maybe if you're used to it, all the power to you, right? We don't really judge how people eat here, but we do try to guide them to eat the best way possible. So he says if you want to serve it with a sauce, suggest using oxtails, beef shins, or beef soup bones to fortify a red wine-based jus that you can cook alongside your prime rib in a roasting pan in the oven if you want. I usually just like eat it with the pan drippings and I'm good with that. If you have enough pan drippings, by all means, make a gravy, but you don't have to. I guess another option that you could do, but like I wouldn't really suggest it because I don't like to disturb the piece of meat, is like when you get near the end of the roasting period, you could cut the bones off if you wanted and stick them in a pot and make like a quick broth or jus that way. But like those bones will really impart the flavor if you cook them overnight. So there's no sense to really rush making a sauce out of anything. The meat should be flavorful on its own. Yeah, that was the only thing I said this morning, Katniss. I was like, oh, we don't have any horseradish though. Because I'm totally that person that will sit down with like a massive piece of prime rib and like slather it, just eat it with so much horseradish. And that's just something I've started doing in the last couple years. Like having the prime rib at work on Sundays, just like totally got in the habit. And it's so delicious. And I find like having it with the horseradish, you digest it a little bit better. It's not like as like heavy and fatty. The horseradish kind of cuts through the richness. You stole the money from Dust. I love it. Dust is poor now. Okay, listen to this. He kind of talks about the different types of beef that you can buy, right? The different gradings and stuff like that. He's talking about dry aged beef. So if you want like the most insane prime rib experience, he's saying use dry aged beef, but then it costs $25 to $30 a pound compared to what we bought for $9.99 a pound, right? Like no one can really afford those prices anymore, honestly. I mean, no one, I guess, that works regular jobs. I don't know what else to say. This is actually so adorable. He has like prime rib commandments at the end of the article here that I think we should read through. I love it, Dust. Yeah, I always say that joke to people too. Joke's on you, I'm already poor. What? I can smell it, yeah. Mary, welcome in. Yeah, you made it in pretty early. We only have the prime rib in the oven so far, and then we're just kind of talking about the piece of meat and the best way to cook it today. So commandment number 1. The perfect prime rib must have a deep brown, crisp, crackly salt crust on its exterior. Number 2. In the perfect prime rib, the gradient at the interface between the brown crust and the perfectly medium rare interior must be absolutely minimized. As in, there should be no layer of gray overcooked meat around the edges. It should just be like your salt crust and the rest is like pink and then red in the middle. We're just gonna roast everything today. Kermit, we're keeping it really simple, doing no stovetop cookery at all. Everything in the oven. Number 3 commandment, the perfect prime rib must retain as many juices as possible. That's a fact, right? Because then you don't need a sauce or gravy to go with it. Oh snap, Katniss, just got a message from your manager at work. We're officially closed tomorrow in anticipation of the severe inclement weather. 5 to 10 Fahrenheit. Are you even getting snow or it's just really cold? Okay, the last commandment. The perfect prime rib must be cookable without the use of heavy or specialized equipment. What? Including oxyacetylene torches, sous vide machines, or CVAP ovens, which is like the... What the heck is the name of that oven now? I forget, we haven't used it in so long. The convection and humidity controlled oven. The rationale, that's the word, thank you. I was like, it's an R word. You might get snow, it may just freeze, maybe ice, who knows? Hopefully no one's pipes freeze or nothing like that. Hi Wilson, welcome and happy Sunday to you as well. Okay, so we just learned about how to cook the best prime rib. So internal temperature that we are looking for, I think I'm gonna push it to, what, like 130, 135? I would say no higher than 135 Fahrenheit for the internal. And then you have to always let it rest after that, right? I would say minimum 15 minutes resting. We'll probably go closer to a 30-minute resting to redistribute all those juices. And then this is our thermometer that we will use. Just a nice instant read. That way we can temp it really quick and pop it back in the oven if we need to. Probably get in some ice there too, Wilson. They're like cutting torches. Well, I think they're saying because you can buy this kitchen appliance that attaches onto a torch that like sears the meat from the outside. What is that thing called again, Sam? The Searzall. So it's called a Searzall. And yeah, you can literally like use a torch to brown your meat. I don't think they're worth it. Titan, thank you very much for the 44 months in a row. Is that the second 44 months today? Yeah, because Speed had one too. Welcome. Everyone's in here today. It's awesome. Have you ever made beef jerky in the Big Green Egg? And what kind of beef did you use if so? I don't think we've ever made beef jerky in the Big Green Egg, LoJack, but we would often make it in the Traeger. And the cut of beef that we use is inside round. So it's like a very like cylindrical long cut, or sorry, eye of round. And so it's like this long piece of like one muscle that just has one fat cap on top, and then the meat itself is very nice and lean. So we typically would just trim off that fat cap, and then from there you can slice it really thin. And yeah, it makes like these really nice big pieces of beef jerky when they dry out compared to like weird little like chunks how you get them in the store now. But yeah, eye of round. We have a pellet grill too. We found that the pellet grill just made the beef jerky in the easiest way possible. And how long would we leave it? Like 6 hours, I think?
8 hours.
8 hours? And then if we had to dry it out a little bit more afterwards, you can just stick it in the dehydrator for like an hour and then you're good. Yeah, right? Like we would slice it pretty thick and it would be really nice and chewy, not like you're saying hard and stringy. Like the first time we made jerky, we just used the dehydrator. Holy, it was like so dry and like Katniss said, like hard and stringy and not that nice to eat. But I find like actually smoking it gives such a nice flavor and like it stays chewy and kind of preserves it, right? That's our jerky talk for the day. Okay, so we popped that roast in about 30 minutes ago now into the oven, and it's been at 425 Fahrenheit, kind of getting that browning first part. So let's see how it's looking, whether we should be turning it down now. Well, it's browning pretty nice. Let me just grab a towel so I can give it a little swivel. I want to see the back of it. A little more, I would say. Okay. The sock, though, Samo's sock in the reflection, you're saying? His knitted slipper. Okay, so that's the first 30 minutes at that temperature. I'm thinking maybe 10 more minutes, and we should be good to turn that down to 275. Sambo?
Yeah.
It's one Sammy foot away from being done. Johnny, welcome in. Yeah, we needed a little bit more brown, for sure. That was like the first commandment, right? You need that outer brown crust. And then from there, how much longer do we think it'll take to cook? Like an hour and a half, maybe? Not that long, because it's not very big. The oven sounds like a PS4, so that's a convection oven. So you don't have an option to turn the fan off in there. It's just always on, regardless of the temperature you cook at. And yeah, this oven, so you guys remember when we got that oven, we were living at my brother's house that didn't have like a kitchen or anything. So we purchased that oven for ourselves. And it's amazing, I have to say, for what it is. We can definitely tell with it being plugged in here that the electrical at that other place when we were using that oven was definitely not what it should have been. So it's so like quiet how it's running inside of the house right now. And yeah, it roasts like chicken so good. I love using it for baking stuff like cookies, anything like that, pies. It bakes so nice. But yes, it does sound like a jet engine. Like we were gonna maybe set it up in the kitchen here, but I didn't want to like be yelling over it the whole time. Yeah, Johnny, that's like us here. It is freezing cold out there finally. Okay, I'm gonna start grabbing our veggies to roast on this side, get those all prepped up on the sheet pan, and then away we go. Just gonna grab my watch really quick so I can set a couple timers later on. She was just charging. So we got potatoes and squash and peppers, and then we'll also make a fresh cucumber salad. Cut through some of the richness today. You need a new oven and want one that's an air fryer as well. Why not, right? Why not get that function? Okay, should we maybe start with our potatoes? Maybe. And then I'm just grabbing our squash, because squash was still on sale earlier this week, so I picked up, this is called a kabocha squash. You can see where it was sitting on the ground. Typically, like any squashes or melons even, if they're grown on the ground, they always have a spot like that. And the cool thing about this squash, and I did link a recipe how to cook it, is you don't have to peel it. Like I might peel off a couple of these little bit of harder pieces, but yeah, all of the skin on this squash is edible. So you just have to scoop up the seeds from the inside, and then you don't have to peel it. Just chop it up, dress it, and you're good to go. The menu sounds tasty. Thanks, Valk. It's so simple, this menu today. Not doing anything crazy. Just trying to use up what I already had in the fridge, really. I had to pop my potatoes in the fridge this week because they were really growing eyes quickly. I didn't want them to keep growing, so I put my potatoes in the fridge. You're eating shrimpies? Spicy shrimpers? That sounds good. We had shrimpies the other day. These are really massive potatoes, so I think those 3 will be good enough for us. We'll save these other 2 for maybe a meal during the week. Just gonna go grab the veggie peeler. And then I'll just set a 5-minute timer so we can check on the meat in a moment or two. Cool, Mary. They make convect ovens with like French doors. That would just be like so satisfying to use. So I'm just peeling off any like blemishes from the potato. Anything that would potentially make it not taste good, even after it's cooked. But for these yellow flesh potatoes, I like to leave the skin on as much as possible. It's not like a russet where it's really like hard and kind of dirty tasting. Hi Trekker, I'm good, how are you? Welcome in on this chilly Sunday. But we're heating it up in the house. Not one, but 2 ovens. You're cold? Yeah, it is crazy out there. I know we're not the only ones that have cold weather. How much was that little oven when we got it, Sambo? What, wasn't it like...
500?
Was it 500 bucks, I think? It was on sale.
That was 9 something.
Right, right. And you guys might wonder, like, why we have this oven. The reason we picked this oven is because it perfectly fits a half sheet pan from, like, a commercial kitchen size. Because, like, I know they make all sorts of different sheet pans for, like, home cooking. But when you work in a restaurant, there's, like, all specific sizes of things, and they don't really change wherever you go. So that's why we got that oven, because it perfectly fits those sheet pans. And also it has 4 racks. Like I was saying, this big-ass oven only has 2 racks. What's the point of that even? So that's why we got it. And yeah, I would say we got the use out of it over the years. And I think they make one or a couple smaller versions. I think they make another one with only 3 racks in it.
This is 3-rack one.
Or that is the 3-rack
There's
one?
4-rack one.
No, this is the one.
We have an L3 and an L4.
Oh, I thought we got the L4. But anyways, yeah, there's other versions of it as well. And then what else? They have a bunch of different baking racks and stuff that you can buy for like accessories. So let's say like a full sheet of steel to like bake pizza on that perfectly fits in there. It's pretty cool. So like we really did, you guys know us, we did our research when we were going to buy an oven, and yeah, that one was the best one at the time.
The L2 is quarter pans.
Yeah, they also make one that's like really slender, like half of the width of it. It's really cute. So we're just going to dice up our potatoes. I would say bite size. Don't have to go too small, but nothing too big either. And then we'll dress them with some olive oil, I think. And salt and pepper. I don't know, what else do you want on the potatoes, Samu? Maybe a couple dried herbies. Some thyme. I might put the thyme on the squash instead, we'll see.
Peppers.
If you wanted, actually, I might do this instead. Kind of like match the flavor of the potato to the beef if you want. You can use a similar seasoning. And so me cutting the veggies this size, I know that they'll roast in around 30 minutes. So the bigger you cut your vegetables, the longer they'll take. Obviously, the smaller you cut them, the shorter amount of time it'll take. But I find like a 30-minute roast time is kind of the best because they get a little bit of browning and then they're also perfectly cooked through and not like mushy. Okay, that's my 5-minute timer. So let's go over and check the oven. Check the oven again. Siri's being crazy. Does thyme ever run out of time? Maybe in the winter. You don't like neither rosemary or thyme. Really? That's interesting. Is it just like a really too strong a flavor for your palate? Let's see how much this has changed in 10 minutes. Nice. Look at this side. Ooh. You did what, my dear?
Just turned it down.
So Sam just turned it down before we came over. So it's nice and browned. And now should we set a 1 hour timer? I think we'll set it 1 hour and then check it. Boom. 1 hour on the clock. It tastes like kind of minty to you, Trekkert. Interesting. Ugh, Nike, I roast my coworkers per 12-hour shift. Yeah, you do. Yeah, getting a mouth of bay leaf. Oh, Crimson, you're right. Not good at all. This was so much potato. We're gonna definitely have extra potato, but that's okay. It's good to use for breakfast in the mornings. Okay, just gonna wipe my board really quick, get that starch off. Then I'll go grab our oil and some seasonings. And then all of the veggies will just be roasted on sheet pans today. Hey Cookie, welcome in. It's good to see you. Are you getting some things sorted out for yourself today? I'm kind of with you on that Trekker, the like mint with your meat. Like here's an example, a lot of people like to eat mint with lamb. And I just really don't love those flavors together at all. So like whenever we'd cook lamb at work for people, there'd always be someone that's like, where's the mint jelly for the lamb? And it's like, I'm sorry, sir. I don't eat my lamb with mint jelly, so you aren't either. Torino, my fellow Canadian, another 44-month resub. That's a Hattie, baby. Wish I had one. I'd whip it off. Dude, how are you? Are you staying warm? Cookie, your parts for the furnace are on order. Hopefully everything will be fixed Tuesday. Yeah, before it even gets more cold. Insane. I will say, like, rosemary is such a strong flavor. I don't love it that much either. I go through, like, moments during the year where it's like, I can kind of go for some rosemary right now. And then I'll be good for a bit. Not much of a talking mood, but you're alive. That's okay, dude. Just leave the talking up to me. It's all good. So let's get our potatoes coated with some oil. We'll just toss everything together in this bowl, and I think we'll just keep reusing this bowl as we dress the veggies. So remember this? This was actually a mix that we made up to season lamb once upon a time on stream. It was salt and pepper and garlic, and I think we just like chopped up some rosemary. And then since then, the rosemary is just like dried, so I made my own little spice mix. So that's like so good on potatoes. Garlic and rosemary. I will say, if there's like anything to put rosemary on, potatoes are definitely a good one, and then maybe pork is the next good one. So I wanted to use all this up. It looked like a lot of seasoning, but most of it was garlic. And then just to go with a similar flavor with what we have here already, the garlic and rosemary. Well, this is just salt, pepper, garlic, and parsley. And this is also the same seasoning that we used on the beef. So I thought a little bit of this in here too. Perfect. Because bland potatoes are just really bland, honestly, and not that good. Move this over. I was gonna not foil line the one sheet pan for this, but heck it, we're gonna foil line it. It's always like hard for me to make this decision when I'm cooking. Is like, hey, a lot of people argue that like using the tin foil is wasteful. But then if we don't use the foil and it takes us a lot of water to wash off the oil from the pan, I mean, what is more wasteful, right? These are the things I think about when I cook. I don't know which one is more wasteful, using the tin foil or using the water. I think the water would probably run out faster than the amount of foil in the world. I don't know. Okay, there it is. Now we'll just give this a toss. Sometimes I give it a little swirl too. That looks good. See all the little garlicky bitties on there. And then we'll spread that out. We might have a little extra room on this pan, which is kind of my plan. Maybe for some squash. We'll see though. It is always better to spread everything else out when you do roast. We can always pop the peppers in the convection oven when the roast is out and resting, because the peppers are not a very long cook compared to the potatoes and the squash. And then as I'm kind of spreading these out, I'm just watching that like the small pieces like this are not on the outside, because sometimes they burn. So I always try and put like the biggest chunks near the edge of the pan. And then the little bitties can crisp up in the center part where it's safer. Okay, that looks good. Rosemary and thyme is really good on poultry. I mean, rosemary and thyme is kind of that herb that's good on most meats. Maybe not fish, but definitely most like meats. Potatoes, done. I didn't even make a list for today. It's such a simple stream. So we know those will take about 30 minutes, so just keep that in your mind for later. And then this beast, I think I'm gonna grab a different knife. Just this blade is a little delicate for cutting squash. And I would like to not chip it. Can you tell I'm over by the oven? Ouch. What should I choose, Sambo? Just the slicer, maybe? I don't know. Is that down here, even? I don't think my ankle's down here. I have a cleaver. F it. We're going for the cleaver. Why not? Boom. That's the more cilantro, the better. Yeah, that's like me too. I think we're gonna make some guac tonight. I got some avos ripened finally again. Okay, so we gotta like cut that off, and sometimes I find it really hard because it like indents. You can see it if I turn it, right? You can't even see the stem. This one will be easier though. Just trim it off. Just like that, so it's a little bit more flat. I think we're gonna cut this out after we cut it in half. I don't know. Let's see. So I'm just gonna kind of get the knife in there and then just press down. If you need to, because the knife is a little bit sharp on this side. Look, it's not even cutting straight. I think I'll be okay. Just pop your cloth on there. And then from here, be kind of aggressive. Whoa. It worked. It kind of split it. I just got scared a bit. Whoa, there we go. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. Okay, how am I gonna cut that out? I still don't know yet. We'll deal with that in a sec. First, I'm going to scoop all of this out, though. A rubber mallet would work. I don't have a rubber mallet, but yeah, a cloth works just as good. Go big or go home, Cookie. You gots to. Okay, wait. I'll just grab a spoon from over here. It's too far to go over there. The squash is lovely. So this is a kabocha squash. It's not very popular, but Sam and myself, we really like it. Like, I would say it's a more kind of starchy version of a squash. If you're used to something like butternut, this is much more like starchy, a little bit more dry, and almost like potato-esque, compared to a butternut squash is still like more kind of juicy and vegetable, is what it reminds me of. I think we're gonna dress this though with like a little bit of maple syrup and stuff. I love squash with some maple syrup on it. Do we want to just roast it all, Sam, or do we want to save?
No, roast it all.
Cook it all. I mean, once it's cooked, you have lots of different options to use it up. You don't even like squash, but it looks nice. Thanks, Meow Mix. Boom. You were wondering if it's sweet like butternut squash? I would say it kind of has that similar sweetness, Mary. Yeah, it's like sweet and starchy squash. It's called a kabocha squash. Here, I'll pop up the recipe and you can read about it. Which one is it there? The third one. And she like explains all about the squash in the recipe, which is why I linked it for you guys. So go click on the link and go do some reading. You're welcome. Okay, now from here, I can probably get away with using my chef knife because it'll be a little bit more accurate. Just gonna have a sip of water, you should too. Yeah, we got the feta for Mish today. I was like, I have cucumbers, I have feta, and like some green onion. I thought that was perfect. Okay, let's start with this small one. So I was thinking, because we already like cubed the potatoes, and I like how this recipe roasted the squash, is they roast it in wedges instead of trying to cut it really small. Because yeah, squash is hard to cut, right? So if you don't have to cut it as much, well then it's not gonna take you as long to prep it. So we're just gonna take it and make little wedges like this, and then you just dress them and lay them all out on the sheet pan, and it gets roasted like that. And then I also find if you don't want to eat the skin, then it's easy to like just cut this away after it's been cooked, right? And you don't have to eat it, rather than trying to like pick off the skin from all the small little pieces. We're using our brain today. Suppose we can just pop them right into the bowl. Again. Who in chat has ever had this squash? So I'm kind of trying to do like 1-inch thick pieces and keep them all similar in size. See, I'm being very like sure of where I'm cutting and my movements of where my hand is. I'm making this look easy, but it's definitely not. You never want to put your fingers straight. If you have to get to that point, just press down on your knife. Keep your fingers away from your blade, people. Now, I think because this is so straight, we're just gonna start and go along this way instead. It is warm in here, by the way. We're really heating it up in this place. I love it. The heat's literally like turned off. What brain, Mish? You can't find that squash even around you. What? Valk, you've had this squash? Yes, yeah, good suggestion, Cookie. You can also just take this, like how we roasted the spaghetti squash once upon a time. Dress the inside, pop it on the sheet pan, roast it like that, scoop out the flesh, and leave the skin behind. You don't like butternut? Is this much different? You just got here, Bonfire. So I was saying this is like a starchy, more kind of like potato almost version of a butternut squash. It still has a really like similar flavor. But this one is definitely a bit more like starchy, less juicy and like mushy. This one really holds its texture. That's already so much squash for us. I think I might save this other half. Don't save it. What is your plan? Okay. Holy shnikey. Cookie. Cookie's like, and Kate is overwhelmed. A bit. It's okay. I just need to cut this side smaller. So I'm gonna go back to the cleaver. I think we'll make a soup this week because I have all sorts of things for soup. So probably that. Whoa, it farted. Did you hear it? So I'm gonna try and get this off while we're nice and flat. Boom. Perfect. Okay, now I'm just gonna cut this in half straight down, is what I was thinking. You heard it, it farted, right? It was funny. It keeps going at an angle, it's kind of crazy. But at the end of the day, we did it. And that's all that matters. Look at this. It's like a plate. It's like a serving apparatus. This is what Sam's gonna be served his prime rib dinner in. Oh my god. So now we can just do like wedges this way as well. And it's really deceiving when you start to cut up squash, how much is actually here. Like, that is so much food for the next week. Like Cookie said, like soup. Another interesting recipe I've seen lately is a pasta that you make a squash like sauce. Is you blend it together and like make this really bright orange squash sauce, and you coat the pasta with it and then just sprinkle cheese over it and black pepper. I've always wanted to try that, so maybe we'll try that this week with some gluten-free pasta that we have still. How do I want to do this one? Probably just do this and then wedge it like the last one. This looks cool. I was cutting it, there's like lines in the squash. And yeah, it's like really firm and dense, I would say. Whereas butternut always feels maybe a bit spongier, is a good descriptor. Beautiful. Holy. I actually can't remember the last time I have eaten this variety of squash. It has been quite a while. Yes, yeah, that one too, Cookie, also sounds good. The creamy cauliflower pasta. Don't let it stain the cutting board orange with all of its beta carotene. Okay, so some more oil. Yeah, I would say the texture is more like a potato when it's done. Lady Bonfire. The texture is like a potato. Just doing a little bit of oil. I can always add more after we toss it up to see if we need it. I don't know what I'm feeling on the squash for seasonings. I might have to go look. For sure, some of our dried thyme that we made. We already have like a bunch of garlic in the rest of the meal. I don't mind like a cumin coriander sort of mix with squash as long as you don't overdo it. But I think I'm gonna keep it really simple today and then just do some thyme and brown sugar. Or maple syrup, actually. Thyme, maple syrup, and salt and pepper. I always find squash, especially like a starchy one like this, just a bit of sweetness with it. Makes it taste a lot better. You can also do this with carrots or any other variety of squash too. Cumin, cinnamon, garlic. Yeah, that's also a good one too, right? Hello, psychosemantic. You could also be very basic too, yeah. Olive oil, salt, or just butter. There's so many options, right? But yeah, this is thyme that we just bought fresh and then dried. Because I just like how it turns out nicer with like the whole leaves. And sometimes if you can get the fresh thyme like on sale, it's actually less expensive to just dry it yourself. Make your own dried herbs. It's a fun little adventure. Usually I just like rub the thyme in between my fingers to distribute it. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a bit more because there is quite a bit of squash in here. A roasted sweet potato dish with onions, craisins, cumin, garlic, and cinnamon and maple syrup. Yes. Cinnamon is really good with squash. It's true. Okay, we don't need a ton of maple. And then also keep in mind if you are using anything sugary and roasting, don't go too high of heat because it will burn very quickly. But I do like the sweet component because it does add that caramelization and makes it taste really, really good. Okay, so we already did a bit of oil. I feel like I might need more, but let's see. Add our salt and pepper. there even anything in here? The answer was no. It was a booty trap. Fill that in a moment. Good sprinkling of salt. I'll probably do one more like that because these pieces are quite large. Peppercorns. What's everyone else eating today? It's Sunday, so you gotta cook yourself something good. And if you share it with others, that's a bonus. Okay, we needed more pepper. I might just have to mix this with my hands. The bowl is pretty full for us to toss it around together. Nice! A little filet mignon and baked potatoes and broccolini. Love it. That sounds so good, Cookie. Perfect simple dinner. Turkey roast for Trekker with potato salad and homemade bread. Beautiful. I'm coming over. And Dusty has a ribeye too. It's a great day to make something special for yourself. And like I was saying, especially when the weather is so cold for a bunch of us right now, it's like, what else do you want to do? Nothing. There's so much like tasty bits in the bottom of this bowl. Get everything coated. And that is one thing I will say when you are roasting vegetables is, yeah, you need a good amount of oil. Don't be scared. Don't be scared to use a good amount of fat. Otherwise, they could dry out and it just doesn't cook as good. They'll like burn rather than caramelize. Okay. Let's prep our next pan, which I should have done that before we tossed it, but that's okay. Valk scallop potatoes, yes. A ham dinner, we would often cook that on Sundays at camp. If it wasn't prime rib, it was like ham and turkey or something. Bless you, Sambo. And like, who doesn't like scallop potatoes? Every time we made them, people went nuts. It's like, what? Scallop potatoes? It's like, yeah, you've never eaten that before? Like, but the thing is everyone just loves scallop potatoes because they know they're good, right? Oh yeah, that's right, Dusty. Thank you for posting that. I read it this morning and then I didn't reply. Sometimes I do that, I'm sorry. But the maple cookies, sure. I would love to try that. You need a good scallop potatoes recipe? I'm gonna be honest, Trekker. We didn't do anything... Okay, well, I think that we didn't do anything crazy at work when we made them, but maybe I did. So we would always just use... I think it was Idahoan brand, right? Yeah, Idahoan brand, like the bagged scallop potatoes for camp. And then just to make it a bit better, we would often make this the same weekend that like we previously made mac and cheese. So I would always have like a little bit of the cheese sauce left over. And then I would just calculate the milk and liquids to include the cheese sauce. And so I would make like extra cheesy scallop potatoes for them. And oh my God, it was insane. But yeah, like to take a boxed product simple as that and just like elevate it a little bit, right? That it's not just like a plain boring thing. And they would just go nuts for it. It was hilarious. CJ Dewey, thank you for the follow. Welcome. Mary's making a chuck roast. Oh, probably my favorite cut of beef ever. Even more than prime rib, honestly, it's hard to choose. With potato, celery, carrot, and onion. So good and simple. Okay, just lining the next pan. We'll pour our squashes out, and then we'll do our peppers next. So much fun, like, chopping today. And then we have 30 minutes until we check on our roast in the oven. And I think I probably want to get the veggies in the oven in these next 30 minutes. Because, yeah, I don't see the roast taking too long today. It's not a massive chunk when there's only, like, 2 bones. And then we can just make our simple little cucumber salad while everything is finishing up. I think that sounds perfect. Just trying to scoop this out because I know there's like some oil and stuff in the bottom of the bowl. I don't want to just pour it all in the center. Because look. Okay, so we'll spread out the squash and then pour this over the rest. We can leave a little bit in for the peppers if we want. If we feel like it's gonna be like too watery or something. I'll try and lay all the squash down like this. So the one side is touching the pan and can get really nice and caramelized. Are we even gonna fit it all on this pan is my question currently. There's so much. One whole kabocha squash. And I think this was the most expensive squash. Just like weight-wise out of the 3 squash I did buy this week from this store. I think it was like $8. I was like, whoa, at first when I saw the price of it. But then let's think of like how much food this is actually gonna give the 2 of us for spending that amount of money. You have cocktail shrimp, Mary, ready to eat. You wanted to heat up a little with butter, salt, pepper, and garlic. Would that be okay? I wouldn't add any salt. Because often those cocktail shrimps are pre-cooked in a salt brine, so it might be too salty. But you could definitely heat it up in like a garlic butter, and then try it, and then see if you need a bit more salt, would be my suggestion. That'd be really good though if you want to eat it warm. Yeah, we actually just had some cocktail shrimps this week as well, and we like ate some raw with just the sauce, and then we took the extras and made a wrap. A shrimp club wrap is what I called it because I put some bacon and stuff in there. Whoa. I think I might have poured some of the juices on the outside of the foil. That was a mistake. Okay, so hold on to the bowl one more time for our next veggie. That looks so good. All of that's just gonna like absorb into the squash as it cooks. So we'll put that to the side as well now. We're done with the thyme. I think we're done with this one, and same with the maple syrup. Bring the bowl back over. Grab some peppers out. Oh yeah, for those of you that were like a little sick, you can smell and taste again, so food's exciting. I remember like because Sam also lost his taste buds when he got COVID that one time. Yeah, he said it was such a crazy feeling. And yeah, it's not exciting. If you can't taste the food, you really like don't want to eat it. Mish, you haven't eaten dinner? What is going on over there in Denmark? Where are these peppers from? I thought they were gonna be from Canada, but they're actually from Mexico. Who knows what's going on there? Yeah, me neither. So we'll choose what? One of each color? Ah! That one wanted to see the ground, I guess. We'll have to give it a good wash. Drop the pepper, just in case. Wash it up. Are they really small? They're not massive. They're not massive. But they're not like baby peppers either. Like, I would say they're medium size. Where's my knife? Okay, same way as always. Imagine your core is in the center. And then we just cut around the seeds. Keep them all intact. Cut the bottom. If you want to like really use all of it, trim around this top edges for these little pepper nubbins is what I usually call them. It's a little chef snack on the side, but then you're just left with this. Like, pepper seeds are like one of the banes of my existence. I hate when they go everywhere. And when you have to like tap it out of the actual pepper. So that is the way that I have found is like the cleanest and most efficient way to cut up a bell pepper. After all these years. I mean, you'll still have a couple seeds sometimes that get in the mix, but nothing like if you just cut it in half. We'll start with these little bottom pieces. So these will probably roast in like half of the time that the potatoes and squash do. And yeah, usually I like to leave these in like kind of triangle little pieces. And then from here, on these ones, we just go back and forth like that with your knife. For this part, I usually trim it out because it's just like spongy and doesn't taste like much. And then go back and forth afterwards to get your little pieces that you need. Maybe I'll just clean all of these out now. In culinary school, we are taught to cut. They call these like the ribs or the veins of the pepper. We are taught to cut them all out. I would say more for looks than anything. Because like I said, you can eat that stuff. It just doesn't really taste like much. Little spongy bit. I might put a little bit of dried basil that I did myself on these peppers. Because like peppers and basil is really good. Just trying to think of the flavors. That one piece was too small. The peppers are very flavorful. Sometimes they have this like weird aftertaste, but these ones taste really good. Red ones are the best ones. A lot of people really love red peppers, it's true. I don't know if they're the best. They're probably the most sweet. Because to get them red, they have to stay on the plant the longest. So that's probably why most people like them. Is because, yeah, they are the sweetest out of all of them. But I don't know if they're the best. It really depends on what you like. I'm gonna eat this one. Okay, a little bit more oil. This is like such a small amount. Use some more salt and pepper. Just do 1 pinch on that. Grabbing some basil. So once again, this was basil that I bought fresh, and then I realized I probably wouldn't use it all before it went bad. So then I just popped it in the dehydrator and then picked the leaves off of the stems. So the leaves are really nice and whole. So all we're gonna do is like take some of the leaves in between our fingers and just kind of rub them together to distribute it more. And like just the heat from our fingers doing this, you could already smell the basil. Do a couple more. But this is also why they say like dried herbs and spices are a lot stronger than fresh, right? Because it concentrates the flavor. So you don't need to use as much. Okay. Give that a toss together. A friend put red peppers in a garden salad she brought for dinner and hubby loved it. There you go, Mary. You found another one. You gotta use them more often. And yeah, we don't eat a ton of peppers. I will say it's a veggie that I can get sick of pretty quick. I don't know why. I think just because I have eaten so many in my life. But every now and then, they're yummy. And I think they're good for you, all the different colors. Last one to line. And then I think we'll be turning the oven on, my peoples. Turn the oven on, get the veggies roasting, and then we'll go temp the roast to see how much longer everything is gonna be. For this, I'm gonna try and like scrape out all of the oil to use from the bowl. Put it back on the veggies like that. Then we'll just spread it out. That's just a little stem from the basil. Take that out. Holy, I can see these smelling really good when it starts to roast. So we got a good little mix of herbaceous flavors today. That should go really good with the beef. So we don't want anything really piled up on itself because then it won't roast, it will steam. That's why we always spread everything out a bit. So with just the regular oven for roasting all these vegetables, I'm gonna put it to 425. Fahrenheit. Maybe a little higher for my oven just because I know it cooks really cool. Like I usually bump it up 15 or 20 degrees extra from whatever the recipe requires. But yeah, that's all our veggies. So we got our colorful peppers that are like basil flavored. We have our starchy squash that has maple syrup and thyme. And then our potatoes with garlic and parsley and also some rosemary. So we'll get the oven on, get it heating up. So I like to have a little bit of color on everything if we say we're roasting it. Get that going, and then we just have a cucumber salad to make still. I'm gonna put a couple things away while we're waiting. And then yeah, we'll temp the piece of meat together. I'll bring it over here. See how much longer we have. How's this feta? Just wanted to make sure it's actually thawing, which it is. Okay, we will need the olive oil. I was reading through the cucumber salad recipe earlier. We'll also need the salt and pepper, so don't get rid of that. Boom. Okay. Get our hot cloths, and away we go. I'll just bring the roast over, I think. You don't have to see me take it out of the oven. Don't use that cloth. Don't take hot things out of the oven with a cloth that's damp. Trust. Just don't do it. Because eventually the heat will find the wet and will create steam and you'll burn yourself. It'll be a sad situation. That's a roasty beast. No, or maybe the juices are just starting to run out of it. It's looking so good though. Okay, so that's like the top side of it. That's what the side views are. Do it once, yeah, exactly, right, Kiwi? And you'll learn your lesson, you won't do it again. So this went in like an hour and a half ago into the oven. We cooked it 30 minutes, higher temp to get the crust and sear. And now this is after the first hour at 275. So we're at like 112, 111. We go more like in between, ouch, don't touch the sheet pan, in between the bones. That where it takes a bit longer to cook. Okay, so we're all cooked through on the bottom there, and then we're like 113 in the center, which actually is like right on time, I think, as far as timings go. So it's not gonna take very much longer to raise the temperature like 20 degrees or so. So I think I'll set, well, we still have 11 minutes on this, so let's just run it through that 11 minutes next, and then we'll check it again at that point. Sounds good to me. Because I was thinking this will cook for like 2.5 hours. So let's see how our timing is. But oh, baby. Look at how much rib cap is on there. That's why I chose that one. Sunday roast for 2. Sorry if it scared you, the sound. Okay, and then I just wanted to put a little note on the price of that roast because Blood Oak posted in our Discord channel his really delicious looking steak dinner that him and Lauren went out to eat. And so then I went, like I often do this if you guys like say you go to a restaurant, I'll go online and like see the menu and the prices, right? I don't know, it's just a chef thing to do. So I went and looked it up because he said where they ate. And each of the steaks, mind you, they were 16 ounces each, was $67. That's just for the steak. You don't get a side with it either, right? Well, that entire roast was $50. And 2 of us are eating it. And then, yeah, the veggies aren't very expensive, right? So, yeah, we almost got like 2 meals for just the price of 1 steak. So yeah, that as well, right? Cookie USD. So we would be paying even more being Canadian. It's pretty crazy once you start to add it up that way, right? And like for me, I would never go out for a steak dinner or a prime rib because I am confident in my abilities to make this for myself at home. I don't have to pay someone extra money for them to make it for me perfectly, right? So that is like how we always think when we go out to eat is, yeah, never go out to eat and pick something that you often always have or make yourself at home. You're always gonna wanna pick something that you don't always have and maybe you're not that good at making, right? But it definitely makes it hard over the years, like as we keep making all these different dishes to want to go out to eat at a restaurant. I don't know. Just very different. I don't know if you guys feel that way too recently, and just with like how food prices are and stuff. You can get a quarter of a cow or steer for that money, right? Yeah, I was talking to Sam this morning because one of my internet friends, she was talking about like the barter system today online. And she was saying how like she had to go get her hair cut and then she also provides like a service, and so she just like traded her service to get her hair cut instead. And it's like such a different feeling. I will say this because of like when we did our food for friends on the island. It is a different feeling when you just trade goods and services rather than actually exchanging money. Yeah, Mish, you got a Thermomix. You're never eating out again. Never. Right, White Dove? You've learned the more you learn how to cook and cook more often, the less you actually enjoy eating out. When most of the time, like even a home cook can make it better. So do you see why like someone like Sam and myself who has cooked professionally from anywhere from like 10 to 20 years, why would we go out to eat, right? And I'm very particular where I go now because of like where they're also sourcing their ingredients from. Like I will often ask because I like to eat fish and stuff like that, right? Like if I see there's salmon on the menu, before I even order it, I'll ask where the salmon is sourced from. And the servers usually like, they don't like when you ask those questions because they have to go to the kitchen and ask, right? And the one time I did ask that, yeah, it was just like a farmed salmon. Well, why am I gonna pay like $30 or $40 for one dish of farmed salmon? So also, yeah, don't be afraid to ask where the food comes from because that is your own choice to eat what you want. And that too, good point, Mish. It's very satisfying making food for yourself and then eating it and you're like, holy shit, I made that? That is so good. You're like, I'm capable of this? Who would have known, right? And it just like, you kind of become obsessed with trying all the new things, right? I think that's how I got into cooking. Like, my mom would often try new things. Like, she was subscribed to a Canadian Living magazine, so like at least once a month we would get new recipes to look at together, and like maybe we would decide to make something new, right? That's so disappointing too. Yeah, you go eat at a restaurant, pay this like astronomical price, and you leave and you're like, I could have made that better myself. Dang it, that sucks. And yeah, that as well, that's a good point, is like some people are very particular of their experience that they want when they do go out to eat. And that is something I've noticed a lot recently. Like, for example, I was reading up on a restaurant here that's opened recently, and a lot of the reviews online is like, the food's awesome, the service is awesome, but the music is so loud you can't even like talk to the person that you're going out to eat with. Why do they do that? Why do you think I don't want to live in a city anymore, KVP? Because yeah, paying $30 for a plate of fish. Like, we haven't bought chicken recently because it looks disgusting in the store. Like, just those little things like that. It's like, we literally need to get out of here so we can have chicken, so that we can have meat, eggs, everything like that. Yeah, live by a lake or a river where you can go fishing. That is really the only thing, right? I mean, you don't always need a freezer to be able to like save the season, let's say, or live more kind of off-grid like that. I don't know how else to describe it. But a freezer does help because you can really pack it full of meats and stuff. But I will say, like, now that I have seen that we can potentially have power outages and stuff like that here, like, that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that pop up in whatever 32 years that I've been here, right? That's the first time I've ever seen that happen. So I'm very wary actually now of like having all these electrical things. You got to make sure that you're gonna have a generator around just in case. I'm happy that you guys know that you are like so blessed to live by those sources of food, right? Yeah, you can't eat all of that by yourself. If you do get a whole boar or a deer, yeah, you can't eat it all at once, right? So you have to have somewhere to preserve that meat, and you don't always want to dry it out or can it. Yeah, sometimes you just want to like have it fresh. That's why you gotta live somewhere cold enough, I guess, that the ground is the freezer, right? Okay, this oven seems pretty hot. I haven't heard it beep yet though, I don't think, so I'm not gonna try to rush it. Okay, I'm gonna put our trivet aside because we just have to make a little cucumber salad to finish off this meal. Something nice and refreshing. Kind of cold and crunchy. Just a nice contrast to all of our cooked veggies. If I had tomatoes, I would pop tomatoes in, but I don't. So there's that. And then I know we need lemon juice, so I'll grab that. A friend of yours said yes to some venison. They got 47 kilos of meat, and the freezer is full. That is amazing. That reminds me of when we lived on the island. We never had downtime. Like, if you have friends that are fishermen, foragers, or hunters, and you are someone who, like, prepares food, there was never downtime, because when they weren't fishing, they were hunting, right? So if I wasn't processing fish, I was processing deer. It really made the years go by fast. Just washing these up, and then we'll trim them, cut them up. Just doing 2 of these little baby cucumbers for each of us. You have 3 freezers and you can fit like 400 kilos in them combined if you just had meat. Nice. Yeah, you also have to keep everything organized as well, right? We'll trim off the ends. Oh, that's our last of the 10 minutes here. Let me just finish up with these and then we'll check the meat one more time. That's how fast 10 minutes goes by. Holy. See if we are at the 130 to 135 internal temp. Let us see. Okay, it might be loud for a sec because I'm opening the oven up. Doesn't look like it's changed too much in that short amount of time. I really like how nicely the fat has rendered out onto the sheet pan, though. I'll definitely be pouring that off and using it for cooking. Okay, so going in over here again, kind of by the bones into the thickest part, where it's gonna take the longest to cook. Okay, 125 if I go in more. 121. Okay, so it basically raised like 10 degrees in 10 minutes. So if I go another 10 minutes from now, I'll probably push it 15 just because we just had it out of the oven. So let me put the 15 on now and then we should be good to go. Bring this out and it can rest. Oh, baby. Okay, so we're gonna pop all this stuff into the oven then. I'm gonna do the squash on the bottom. That's like the most amount of stuff on that tray, and then the potatoes on the top. And then the peppers get finished in the oven where the roast is in when it comes out. So everything should time out perfectly. So we'll go off of this timer for the veggies as well. We'll check them at that point, same with the meat. And then while we're waiting, we will make our cucumber salad. You grow your own peas, strawberries, black, white, and red currants, and more stuff. Apple trees, so you're pretty set. Yeah, you've domesticated livestock farmers too. That is so awesome, dude. I can't wait for that. Okay, so I'm gonna go in half. I think I'm gonna leave this like pretty nice and chunky. For us, I won't do too thin of slices. Well, yeah, like my favorite part of processing all this stuff for our friends was that we'd always get a little bit of a benefit after, right? It's like if you process this stuff, well then they'll always give you a bit of what you prepared. How can I go wrong with that? It's like, heck yeah, I'll process a bunch of salmon because I know I get some afterwards. So I'm going like 1/2-inch thick pieces. And my next thing I do have to source is definitely going to be beef and pork and chicken, so I don't have to buy it from the grocery store anymore. I'll have to do some research online and find some local farms around the area, because I do know that there's a lot. Heck, I honestly should just text my mom and see if my cousin is actually doing any sides of cows. But that's the thing, like Kiwi said, right? Is, yeah, you can go and buy all this meat, but you always need somewhere to put it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do to get this feta is there's a bunch of feta crumbled underneath. Just trying to take off some of it. That actually worked so good. Boom. I think that'll be more than enough from what we need as well in this. Good amount though, no skimping on it. It's not called cucumber feta salad for no reason. Pop that back in, and then I'll just put that in the fridge because we'll eat the feta this week now. And then we just make a simple dressing of lemon juice and olive oil, and we're gonna slice up a little bit of green onion, it said. Dill would also be good. I have some dried dill. I can probably put a little bit of that in. Hello, Kevin the fish. Welcome in. The lake is 400 meters away. That's so close. What? You widened and deepened a little stream, so now you can park your boat there. That's awesome, dude. I love that, and no one, like, got upset. So thinly slice the green onion. Scrape that into the bowl. Yeah, it's your land, nobody too upset. That was like this one fellow, we had to do some house restoration because I think he had a flood or something at his house. But this was on the island, and he lived like outside of the city, and he lived on his own lake. It was the greatest thing ever. And so he's like, if it's like ever summertime and it's super hot out and you want to go for a dip in the lake, just give me a call. Legendary, Bob. And so we actually did one time, I think, in the summer. It was like such a hot day after work. We just called him up. We're like, we're coming over. And like, he gave you bathing suits and everything to use. And he wasn't like creepy, like you guys might think this is kind of a creepy sounding story. No, it wasn't like that at all. Just like a legendary old man. And that's like where he got all of his water from too, just directly from the lake. It was the best ever. I'm very wary of adding any salt currently because of the feta is a bit salty. So let's maybe give this a mix first with everything. This is lemon juice. I pre-juiced a bunch of lemons when I thought I was going to be leaving for work. So now I just have lemon juice at the ready. It was from Meyer Lemons. Stir that up. I'm gonna get a bit of the dried dill. I love fresh dill, but dried will do. Couple shakes of that. That's a good amount of feta in this salad. I was waiting for that, Mish. That's a good ratio right there. Equal parts feta and cucumber. Still too little? Get out of here. There's no pleasing this woman, I tell ya. Okay, I didn't add any salt. We can add a bit. But the feta has a nice little saltiness to it. Let's add just a little bit, though. So it'll just make it taste better. You get out. Really, Kiwi? Your stories are the best. Can you write a book? I need to start writing a book of all the things you tell me in chat. Like, if I was reading a book, this would be the greatest. Only problem with the lake at my place is if you go more than 17 kilometers out, the Russian border guards are gonna get pissy at you. When the lake freezes over in winter, the wolves come over and cause a whole lot of problems. Aw, your bro lost a puppers? They got the pup? I've still wanted to see a Wolvie, but I haven't yet up in Nunavut. Sambo has seen some Wolvies, but to this day I still haven't. The cucumber by itself tastes a bit bland, but when you eat it with the feta, which you should, obviously, it tastes perfectly seasoned. So I'm not gonna add any more salt. I'm gonna just let this sit for a little bit. Put that in the fridge for now so it stays nice and chilled. And that's it. Completed. I didn't even make a list today. More feta even? Holy, you guys. I can't get any more because the like brick part of it is still really frozen. But luckily I was able to get all of the crumbles off. Those guards be rushing to cause trouble. Thank you for that, Blood Oak. This is for you. Now your bro leaves his dogs at your place? Cause yeah, you're demons. I remember your stories. I can't wait to meet your little wolf pack that you have, Kiwi. Maybe I'll make it over there one day. We'll see. Just driving on up in the truck. We're coming over. That'd be amazing. Okay, we got 3 minutes on the timer before we should be taking the beef out of the oven to rest. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break now, since we have a couple moments, and I will return shortly. it's me. Hi. I'm back, friends. I'm back. Can't wait to peek in at the squash in the oven. Not yet, though. Don't rush it. Okay, Trivet's coming back. Get the thermometer. Haven't really made too much dishes. I mean, there's gonna be some sheet pans to wash later once we're done. But other than that, just a bowl to mix the veggies and that's it. Gotta love those days. Holy, the fog finally went away outside. The sun finally burnt it all out. Okay, 55 seconds on the timer. I'm gonna start making my way over. I might actually switch the root veggies into the convection oven because that just kind of makes sense to me for cooking wise. It'll be more efficient. Okay, and then another thing that we've talked about before on stream, but not yet today, is it's called carryover cooking. So that when you take a big piece of meat out of the oven like this, like look at, holy shit, you can see all the marbling in there. Oh my god. But when you take a big piece of meat out like this, there's always carryover cooking, so it will actually continue. Dust! It'll continue to cook a little bit after it's out of the oven. So you have to think of that. And they say, like, in school, we're taught 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. It will keep rising in temperature when it's out of the oven. So that's why it's really important to, like, never overcook or push it too far, because there's no going back after that. I'm just gonna do one more temperature right in the center. Okay, 135 down there. 140 over there. 125 internal. I would say that's actually so perfect. Sambo's sleeping, so he's not here to make this decision with us. But I would say it's time to rest. So all we're gonna do, oh, I guess I need the foil again, is we're gonna make a little tent. We're just gonna tear some foil and like loosely drape it over the piece of meat on the pan. It smells so good. And then we'll reset a timer now too, right? For the veggies. So I'll put it on another 15. And then that's also kind of our resting timer. So this is how you do it. Like just kind of enough foil to wrap it around it. And like, remember the bottom part of the pan is open, right? So the air can escape and it won't overcook with us wrapping it. And that's how that is tented. Put a couple of food pics in the Discord. Thank you, Mary. So now I'm just gonna leave this actually like on this one side of the stovetop. Stays a little bit warm. So I'm just gonna leave it like in the center here to rest while we finish up. And then yeah, I think I'll switch those veggies out over to the convect oven. I'm just gonna turn it up a sec. Let it heat up a touch before I pop them in there. And that will go quicker. So I turn the convect to 425. And then I just need one more oven rack in, so it might be allowed for a sec. Don't worry, it's okay. You guys are right, it really does sound like a jet engine. That oven's so crazy. You did food prep today as well, Kiwi? Got your hands on a lamb. So you made a rack out of the ribs on the Traeger, a nice stew, and made some shish kebabs and Thai coconut waffles for dessert. Yes, sir. That sounds amazing. How long did it take you to make all that stuff? Okay, now I get to go look at Mary's pics. Thank you, Mary. Yum! Baked halibut. Was that like right out of the ocean, Mary? I'm so jealous. Veggies and Alfredo nudes. Perfect simple dinner. Bought these last Sunday from QVC. Ooh. Kugaman? How do you say that? I don't know how to say that word. But I've seen those before. Isn't it like a Jewish pastry? Florida to Alaska? Queenaman. Thank you. Queenaman. It's French. Thanks for sharing all that stuff. Okay. Let's see these vegetables as we're moving them over. They're just starting to sizzle. That's good. Yum. Squash is starting to sizzle. Bring it over to the powerhouse of an oven. Valk, you seen it? It looks super scrumptious. I am so excited. We haven't, or I myself have not really eaten any beef lately because it's so expensive, right? I think the last time we had beef, and this was on stream, I think I made those meatballs or something. Look how slow this oven cooks. It's insane. The potatoes aren't even sizzling. But yeah, it's definitely been like 2 weeks, I think, since I've eaten really anything beef-wise. Okay, so both ovens are at 425. And then we just have these peppers left to roast, but they take about half the time of the other vegetables, so I'm not gonna rush on that. You got a combo of them? Queenaman. Gotta remember that word, so I'm gonna keep saying it. Original lemon and chocolate hazelnut, they're so good. Which one was your favorite, Mary, that you had? Scooter, how was everything? We haven't tried anything yet. We're just finishing up cooking everything. But how is your Sunday going? Welcome. The lamb rack took 4 hours. The stew went for the same amount of time. The kebabs took like 10 minutes if you don't count the marination. Yeah, right. Yeah, don't count that part. Waffles like an hour. Right? That's the thing I find is instead of us just like dwelling and thinking about doing the thing, whatever it is, just do it. Stop thinking about it because you like stress yourself out for no reason. If you just do it, it goes by so much quicker. The halibut was frozen but still amazing. I've had really amazing frozen fish, you're right. That's kind of the only fish I trust here. Like I would never go to the store and buy like fresh salmon because you know it's not fresh. Not at all. I'd rather buy it frozen and then just thaw it myself because most of the time frozen fish is like frozen on the boat. So how could it get fresher than that? Thank you. Holy smokes. So we've had this like trend these last 2 days, Scooter, of either 44-month resubs or 48 months. So thank you very much for the 4 years together today. 48 months being part of the kitchen crew. That is so long. That is so long. And Papier Cuts, thank you for the follow. Welcome. It is funny. It is Mary. Mary is in here. And lemon was your favorite version of that pastry? Oak? Yeah, I was telling Chad about your beef. Last time you had beef was Thursday when Lauren and you got the 16-ounce bone-in filet with red wine demi. So we were kind of doing like a price comparison, right? Because I was weird and went on to the website of the restaurant you went on. Because I like to look at menus and prices, right? Insane, the price of that steak, but I bet it was so, so good. And the mac and cheese, I died. So yeah, just so you know, during the week when you guys post food photos, it makes me hungry too. You don't just always have to salivate over what I make. You looked it up, Dust, right? You gotta. You gotta. That's how we know we're all serious about food. Very true as well, Kiwi, right? The food making doesn't take that long. Sometimes the cooking process does, though. 65 US per portion. And then our entire 2-pound roast today, 2 pounds or more, I think it was 2.25, was 50, right? 50 Canadian. So probably the same price as what you guys paid. So let's say this entire roast today was $65 American. But we're feeding 2 people at home, right? But the thing is, like, for some people to go out to a steakhouse, that's a cool experience, right? The way they present everything, I don't know, it's just fun. And yeah, sometimes you don't want to cook for yourself, right? There are definitely times when we don't want to cook for ourselves. Il Greco 98, thanks for the follow. I'm just coming to have a little peek over at our veggies, see how much they're sizzling up. Oh, they're cooking real nice now. They are cooking real good. It was killer delicious. You were so full. You had bacon wrapped scallops too. And French onion soup. Oh, I love French onion soup so much. And right, bacon wrapped scallops. How can you ever go wrong with that? You can't. Okay, I'm trying to translate this. Come procedono le patate. Something about the potato. I'm copy pasting it. He says, how's the potato process? So here's the recipe. Number 2 down in the list is the potatoes. Your food prep for the week, Kiwi, was around 150-ish bucks, only because you got your whole yearling lamb. Yeah, right? Otherwise, it would have costed so much more even. And this is just to feed yourself, right? Like, typically, lately, when I was just feeding myself at home, I think I was spending around $100 a week. But I would also take an hour one day just to, like, shop through all the flyers of the grocery stores that we have to see which one has the cheapest prices. That was your first time ever having scallops? I love that you tried something new. That makes me so happy, Blood Oak. You were scared, but now you're really hooked. See? See, you never know if you don't try it. That's why I say always try something once. Even if you, like, think that you won't like it, you never know, right? You could be like, wow, I was very wrong about this. I'm getting ready to eat. Can you guys tell? It's like so cozy in here now. We heated up the whole apartment. I'm ready for foods now. I gotta wake up the bear in a little bit too. What do we got? 3 minutes until we check again. I can see the steam. I don't know if you guys can see it if I switch this, but the steam, here I'll show you, is literally pouring out the back from the veggies. This is why I love this oven. Oh my gosh. So we're cooking it up, chat. Woo! What? That's the craziest question I think I've ever been asked on Twitch. What makes red velvet and white chocolate an interesting combination based on an interesting commonality? Are you just using like Chat GPT to ask these questions? It literally sounds like a robot wrote that sentence. There's, honestly, for me to answer this question, you're not gonna like my answer. Well, then I'm not even gonna answer it if you can't hear. Most of your food went into prep packs for the week, but a fair bet was for dinner for the fam. That's so nice of you to cook for them. But yeah, since you already have your meat frozen, you can get by with like $50 a week. Totally, right? Yeah, if I already had my meats, for sure, like you're spending half of your budget every week on groceries is just for your proteins, right? And the rest is for veggies. And veggies are so expensive now. How do you make icing for cinnamon rolls that's not cream cheese? Very, very simple, Mary. Is you're gonna take icing sugar, and you can decide whether you want to use, I've seen people use milk, but then you have to like keep it in the fridge. Or I've also used just water a lot of times. So you just pour your icing sugar, like you'll need quite a bit, into a bowl and just slowly drizzle water and whisk it until it is like this thick kind of consistency that you can just like drizzle it over the top. If you want the icing to stay kind of runny, definitely add more water or milk. If you want the icing to like kind of harden onto the top, make it thicker. And yes, you could add vanilla. If you don't want it as sweet either, Squigs, thank you very much for the raid. How was your stream today and what did you get up to? It's great to see you. A previous member of the kitchen crew, I don't know if Squigs is subscribed anymore, but they've been here before, so welcome. And yeah, Mary, if you don't want your icing too sweet, you could always add a little bit of lemon juice in with the water, just to like cut through that. Okay, and then AM radio, your answer to your question. I don't really have an answer to that. Like the red velvet to white chocolate commonality, like what are you trying to get out of that question? Because to me, red velvet, yeah, it looks red. It looks red, but that is not the flavor of it. Red velvet cake is flavored with cocoa. Holy. The amount of steam that just came out of the oven. And so you just have like a dark chocolate flavor with a white chocolate flavor. I guess that contrasts itself. It's a riddle? Dang, that went right over my head then. Okay, I'm gonna bring a paring knife over to the oven and I'm just gonna poke the root veggies. And see how cooked everything is. Oh, nice. Okay. So it's basically all cooked through. We're just working on browning it now. So what I'm gonna do is pop the peppers into the oven over here. So those can also finish up. And then we can kind of finally carve this roast beast. So let's do 10 minutes and then we should be good. The riddle went over everyone's head and into Misha's stomach. Perfect. Well, at least it went somewhere. Okay. Let us prepare the carving station. We need a big cutting board and we need a slicing knife and possibly a carving fork. Cutting board, slicing knife, carving fork. I cannot say that 5 times fast, all those different words. Cutting board, carving knife. Yeah, see? Cutting board, carving fork, slicing knife. It's impossible. Don't even try it. Boom, and then usually I also put a towel underneath the cutting board because sometimes the juices just really start running, even if you've rested it. And then to make it not look weird, I'll usually use a red towel to soak up the blood. Beautiful. Going to grab the knife and the fork. Well, let Samo do the honors of carving, since he hasn't carved any prime rib for a long time. Since what, like October, I think? That's the carving fork. This is the one that I bought for culinary school. And it actually does have a nick in it. I don't know what we were doing. But like, I'm pretty sure one of our knives nicked this metal. The knife was so sharp, whatever we were slicing. I literally sliced through the metal. Crazy. Okay, so this is how I set it up. Ta-dun. That's the setup. That's how you do it in Holland. Oh my god. Chat, we're shaking the bear. We're bringing him back to life so that he could carve the meat in some moments. Those are the noises bears make when they wake up, if you were wondering. Gross! A sharp toenail? You guys are sick. Sick, I tell ya. Okay, I'm gonna go check the veggies one more time. We might just put the peppers in the other oven because it cooks so much better. Do you guys see why we like this other oven now? Because we don't have time to wait. Nothing's getting too browned. It's looking good. And those are slowly sizzling. Okay, we're almost there. Like 6 minutes. 6 minutes, that's it. And then, okay, next week, let's talk about next week. So we're gonna celebrate our streamiversary next weekend. And the weather's actually supposed to warm up really nice by the time Friday comes around. So we were thinking of taking a road trip to the mountains. Whether we go on Friday or Saturday, I guess we'll see if we stay overnight. Sam and I will plan it this week. But yeah, we thought a fun thing to do when we're in Jasper for the stream together is almost like a scavenger hunt where we will like set different goals for the stream, and as we tick them off, we'll go do certain activities around. Or like go find something to eat or do something like that. I thought it'd be really fun. And then I was also going to compile a little video for us to watch on, I'm thinking Sunday. We should be home on this Sunday. And then we'll have a little watch party together of some past like stream moments and just hang out. I thought that would be really nice. This is the answer to the riddle. They're both chocolate deceivers, so maybe my answer was actually accurate, what I said. I literally had the answer. Because I was like, well, red velvet's a color, not a flavor. Red velvet's flavored with chocolate, which most people don't know. I win. Didn't even know. Haha. 3 points? That's better than no points. Misha's head broke. And thank you for correcting that. I was waiting for it. I didn't even want to get into that conversation. As a duchy, Okok had to correct the error. Holland is a province. The country is the Netherlands. I didn't know that either. Now we all know. I'm moving the meat. Moving the meat. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you. Peppers are sizzling their way along. Ban me, I dare you. You don't even have a carving fork, never needed one? You just use a kebab spear? I love it. You're such a caveman. It's true though, you don't need the carving fork. That's why I said my little note of like, I had to buy this to go to culinary school. Is you have to have this like little toolbox of utensils and knives and stuff so that you can go to school with. And like they had these like preset kind of culinary toolboxes and kits that you could purchase like from the school, different brands. But they were so like cheaply done that I was like, I'll just take this list and make my own set instead. And that way I know I will have like lifelong things to use, not just like a cheap knife set that won't last me a couple years, right? Kiwi might be a serial killer. Mish, it's okay, he's just Russian. It's fine, he's safe though. Holland is known because Amsterdam's located in the province of North Holland. Okay. Thanks for teaching us, Okok. Whoa, that sounds crazy. AM radio, brown butter ice cream with cinnamon crispies. Shards of Vermont syrup glass. That's the fanciest ice cream ever. Your grandpa on your mom's side sailed with his parents when he was a baby from Rotterdam to the US. Imagine that. Imagine that trip. I think I'm gonna take all of our veggies out over here and turn the oven off so you know what's gonna happen. Remember the beeps, chat? This is gonna bring you all back. Remember the beeps? We hate the beeps. Why? Because there's only 10 potatoes. Sambo? Oh no, we lost him again. The first earthquake didn't work. We need another one without any warning. Oh my god. Okay, let me grab the squash. Holy. This squanch chat, I don't even know what I created. That's our 10 minutes going off. Yes, I shut off the timer with my nose. Look at it. I told you it would soak all of the stuff up off of the sheet pan. Oh my god. Oh, this is actually true. I made a mistake. I called someone Russian and they're actually Estonian. Kiwi hates me now. I'm sorry. And German? Nice. What's a Ben & Jerry's flavor I would customize? I don't know. We don't really have that option here in Canada. Yeah, Mish is actually secretly Swedish and we just didn't know. Hello?
Are you ready?
Yeah, we need your services soon. Right, chat? We need the services. Okay, so we're gonna get him to pick it up and then I'll take the pan away. And the peppers are just finishing up while we do all this. Are you gonna use this fork?
What do you need to do?
Well, you're gonna pick up the roast and I'll take the pan away. I'm just gonna put it down here. He doesn't hate us. Phew. Thanks, Kiwi. Okay, and then we saw... There's your knife here, if you need. And then I just wanted to show the little bit of juices we had that we can pour onto the plate. Just grabbing the plates out, chat, while Sambo carves. And we'll do a couple different contrasting colors of plates. Because why not? And then we gotta get our cucumber salad out too. Which I think I'm just gonna put in a couple, or just in one bowl even for us on the side to eat out of. How's it looking over there, people? It's very quiet. It's very quiet. I don't hear anything. Oh, you're shaving it. Why are you shaving it? Just a little bit?
I want them.
Oh, he wanted it shaved, chat. Now we know. He wanted it shaved. I've never known you to eat prime rib like this. So just going off of what I do know, chat, is typically Sam's the prime rib carver at work, and he'll just like yell from the back of the kitchen to whoever we know, and he's like, how many fingers thick would you like me to slice it? There's usually not a shaved option. We talking about the roast? Yeah, we are, sir. Pick a flavor of ice cream, add swirls, syrup, chunks of other stuff, and other goodies. Yeah, we don't have that in Canada. Just peeking at our peppers. We can let them go a little bit longer while we're plating. Okay. Holy shit, that turned out. Hey, where's the plate? I need him to move over a little bit. I made a good one, dearly. Just gonna move this back over onto the pan. We didn't even really make any juicy mess, hey? That's why you rest your roasts, everyone. The proof is right there. Okay. Samu's still the best bit, the bony. I mean, he's not wrong. How do I want to do this? It's the best view. Probably like that. Push that all the way up over here. Just need to be able to fit a plate. So I'll pile all our veggies and stuff on first. Bam. There we go. What do I want? A spatula? Tongs? A spatula to scoop all that stuff. So we can say the oven did a really good job then? He even swore, chat, that's how good of a job he did. So our roasted potatoes, we dress them with olive oil, garlic, parsley, rosemary, salt, and pepper. Maybe one more. Fill in the gap. And then our kabocha squash. So this variety of squash, you can eat it with the skin on and everything. So we dressed it with olive oil again, and then some thyme and maple syrup, as well as salt and pepper. I think like 3 pieces of the squash like that is more than enough, because this one's pretty starchy compared to like a butternut. Samo that really nice looking one. And then our peppers. I like my peppers like not really mushy when you roast them. And then we dress these with olive oil, salt, pepper, and a little bit of basil. But yeah, we still got a little bit of color on there. Let's put it over by the potatoes. Turned out, hey? And then for a little bit of health, we did this cucumber feta salad. And then Samo said this was my big chunk. Baby. You're having all of that? Can you bring your plate just over a bit more? I'm gonna give you a little swirl on the other side in the juices too. Cause look at the end cut. Look at the end piece. Okay, I'll take this out. We could always do this, right? If you wanted. You want it? Okay, I'm just gonna leave this over here. Bonk! You're here! How are you? Do you want one of our forks? I like eating with our forks. Is there some in there? Oh, okay. We did it, guys. Thank you, dearly. I would say we did okay. I mean, it's not perfect because when we learned there shouldn't be like any gray, what they call gray meat around the edge. It should all be kind of pink and red. So maybe we cooked it a little bit too quick is what we can know for next time. But yeah, everything looks so good. And then just our fresh little salad here. Okay, I'm gonna turn this so I can start carving some pieces of meat. How's the crust though? Deadly. Oh yeah, you were here yesterday, Bonk, when we crusted it. Okay, I'll take like a piece from over here then so I can show you guys. Oh my god. The rib cap. That's how the crust came out. So it was just Dijon mustard rubbed on with salt, pepper, garlic, and parsley, aka Susie Q's. I'm gonna dip a little bit here in the juices. It's like meat caramel. That is so good. I haven't had beef in too long. Yeah, Dust has his steak to cook up. Dust is having ribeye today. Cookies are on the filet train. How's the veggies, my dear? I'm just getting into them. Everything's okay. So our squash we're eating with the skin on. Mmm. I've never had the kabocha skin turn out that soft. I'm glad I didn't choose, because you can also have acorn squash. You can eat the skin on that squash too, but I find when you like roast it, the skin gets so hard and like woody, but it's kind of gross. Mmm. It's totally like a potato texture compared to like a butternut squash. The meat caramel, it is, Val. You lost all your juices on yours when you shaved it, but it's still deadly.
Perfect.
He says perfect. Okay. Get a bite of potato. Mmm. I wish I had sour cream. I would totally eat that with the potato. That's just my thing. Look at our little kiss of caramelization on the peppers.
So I sliced it thin. I had a piece of this. So it's like that.
Show them. Wrong place. Wrong place here. Pull it back. So Samo was saying to me he sliced it thin so that he could have like some of the fat shaved nice and thin, not like a big piece, so that you could eat it with like some of the other stuff. Whereas like this, you're not just gonna like slice that and eat it, right? It's too much for your palate. But I do want to try some more of this more like medium cooked beef here. So it just looks so dang good with this chunk of fat on the bottom. So that's why he shaved it. There was a method to the madness. Is it cucumber with feta? And then we did like dill and green onion, just some lemon juice and olive oil. Look at that chunk. That's gonna be a big piece. Mmm. Mm-hmm. Even the like middle cut is not bland tasting. Mmm. That was a good pick. Okay. Finish it all off with some of this. A bit of a palate cleanser, if you will. Someone knocked them all. Got the fork loaded, hits the side of the fork, gone. Mmm. That's a good meal, I would say. How's it going, Warning? I was saying that this morning, Bonk, right, Samo? I was like, but I don't have any horseradish. I was sad. Because that's totally my thing, how I like to eat my prime rib. A big old hunk like this and just sit there for like 30 minutes. Bit of horseradish with each bite. Just take your time. Eat all of it. You're doing good? Awesome. Wow, thank you. That's love right there, everyone. Guys, I didn't even take a photo. It was too good. It happened. It happened. I'm sorry. Don't get mad at me. I didn't even take a photo. And then and then we still have this hunk. We still have all of this to use up. Samo says prime rib sandwiches. That was his release of good food. That's the sound that needed to be made. Prime rib is good if you get it shaved at a casino buffet. I don't know if I've ever eaten at a place like that before. But I have seen they have like very cheap prime rib. I would be worried though that they're using like very inexpensive cuts of meat though. I don't know. Guess we'd have to go see. Okay, I'm looking who we're gonna go raid, friends. We're wrapping up here today. We usually try to keep Sundays, we call them quick and easy, 3 hours or less.
You fucking did a roast in 3 hours?
We just did a prime rib dinner with potatoes, peppers, squash, and a side salad in under 3 hours. No excuses, literally. I don't want to hear it. Cat pastries. Chef Steve has pasta. Stardew Valley foods. We want to go see Kanara. What are you guys feeling today? I don't know. What else we got? Chaotic Good Mage is on, I think, right? Do we want to go raid him? He's making Bude Jjigae. Ooh, with the dumplings? Okay, let's go raid him because he was here actually this morning and said hi. Chaotic Good Mage is where we're going to raid. And thank you for that follow, friend. 4:20 a.m. radio. Welcome, welcome. I'd be surprised, Bog. Some of the casino buffets are actually good. Yeah, right? That's why I said you honestly don't know until you go try it. Dumplings, yeah, right? Neighbor just checked on you to see if you need it plowed. Did you say yeah, Mary? I have created the raid. Exit the foods. Even though that's what I'll be going to do after stream, is I'll probably maybe eat half of that plate. Maybe. I might put a dent in it a little bit. It's gonna be good though. So I hope to see everyone next week. We will be back on Friday, yeah? I think Friday, because we'll take the week to plan all of our fun festivities for the weekend and let you guys know the schedule coming up. And I will post the schedule this week. It was just a little different this week because I didn't even know if Sam was gonna make it home on Thursday. Didn't even know. Okay, let's go see Chaotic Good Mage. We will be live again at 11 a.m. Pacific on Friday. And then if you're not in our Discord, you should definitely join because that's where we catch up and keep in touch throughout the week when we're not live on Twitch. Ooh, it's gonna be cold. And yeah, if it's getting cold where you are, stay warm. Make sure you prep a bunch of meals just in case the power does go out. You never know. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for all the long-term resubs, like 4 years. 4 years or more, getting close to it. And all the new follows, welcome in. Hope to see you next time. All right, I'm gonna hit that button. Love y'all, stay safe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!
Bye.